Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? This is Coach Wood, and we are back for another great episode, you guys, of content. This one is going to be good because sometimes we get in our head a little bit too much as student athletes, as professional athletes, and we don't do the math properly. So today we are going to be talking about how to do the math as a young athlete. And what I mean by doing the math, you guys are looking at rosters, you guys are looking at depth charts and trying to see how things are going to pan out and where you're going to land. And we're going to talk about that here today. But before we get into it, once again, thank you so much for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. This is a football channel, you guys. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. You can find Coach Wood right here. This is the Weekday Huddle, you guys. Please hit subscribe if you do enjoy the content. You get some value out of today's content. And then also check out the resources that we have for you down in the description box. Guaranteed to help you guys get where you want to go if you're talking about the football industry, baby. But let's get into today's topic. And today's topic is about the math. The math we try to do as football players when we're trying to navigate this industry. It obviously gets very competitive, and we're trying to already predetermine, in many cases, the best spot for us to land, where we can go and get on the field early, where we don't see any competition, where we just see a clear, clean path, you guys, to football superstardom. You want to get on the field and you want to go straight to the top, and you're thinking that you already have the math figured out. Well, what if I told you the math is probably off? A matter of fact, I've been in this game so long, whether it was me as a young football player trying to do the math on a situation, or the young football players we work with before you go pro. 9 times out of 10, you guys, the math is off. Things do not pan out exactly the way that we had them equivalated. You guys, we think that, that guy is no good, and coach told me this, and that guy's graduating, and I'll be the man. You got all the math figured out. And like I said to you guys, 9 times out of 10, it does not pan out that way. And I actually got a few examples to share with you. One of them is mine. And the other one is from what we saw this past year in the NFL, you guys. The first one is when I was coming out of high school. When I was coming out of high school in the Bay Area, and I was obviously looking at the University of Colorado, where I landed. You see the helmet behind me. And I'm talking to the DB coach. Shout out AJ Kristoff. I'm talking to the DB coach, and he's giving me his math. So one thing you young football players are going to get during the recruiting process is you're going to also get the team's math, the coach's math, and they're going to tell you where they feel that you fit in their program, who else they have in their program. They're probably going to touch upon that, and where you can find your niche, where you can find your spot on the team, how you can get on the field. They're going to give you a little bit, they're going to give you some numbers to play around with. They're going to give you a couple equations to play around with, you guys. And you're going to look at their math, and you're going to do your math, and you're going to feel like, hey, this might be a great spot for me. Or you're going to say, oh, no, that's not a great spot for me. That kid was a freshman All-American. The other kid, I know him because he's from my area and he's talented. And that's not the spot for me. You're doing the math, right? And once again, I know this because I've lived it. As you see right here, I've been there, you guys. I was trying to go to the NFL and looking at NFL rosters and trying to do the math as a free agent. So I didn't get drafted. I didn't get a rookie free agent opportunity afforded to me right after the draft because, right after the draft, they start calling guys up like Diego Pavia got this past season, and they start signing guys right after the draft. I didn't even have that, you guys. I have a Hall of Fame grandfather, and I made a few plays in college, and he made some calls for me and got me some tryouts. And even with being, and my dad always had this saying, beggars can't be choosers. Even being a proverbial beggar at the time in the college football industry, trying to get to the pros, I was still trying to do the math. There is no math when you're a beggar. That's what I learned. There is no math when you're a beggar. You take whatever you can get. So I'm sitting here with no opportunity. Grandfather got to drop a dime for me. Now I got some workouts with the Raiders and Packers, and I'm still looking at the roster doing the math, you guys. And you know what the math tells me? The math tells me that you're not in control. The math tells me that you're feeling like there's forces outside of you that really control the situation, and now you're trying to find a situation where you feel like you're in control. But guess what? If you focus on you and you do the best that you can do for you, everything's going to fall right in place anyway, baby. So let me tell you about this time. Coach Christoph said, hey, I'm on my official recruiting trip. So I already know they want me. They paid for me to come out to Colorado. So I'm on my official recruiting trip. It's just me and the DB coach in the film room. We watch a little film, and then he tells me the math. He gives me some numbers to play with. And he knows, I mean, come on, at the time, Colorado was one of the top 10 teams in the country. So he knows everybody they recruited is probably going to want to hit the field a little early. So that's how they're going to try to sell you. They're going to try to sell you usually with who they've produced and who's gone off and done big things. And they're also going to try to sell you with how fast you can get on the field during the recruiting process. And in order to do that, what? You're going to do a little math. So Coach Christoph tells me, he says, look, we got a senior playing corner. I was a cornerback coming out of high school. We got a senior playing corner that's starting right now. He's leaving. He's going to be gone. We got a freshman, and he was honest. We got a freshman. Shout out Damon Willard, Dog Pound. We got a freshman that we think is very talented, and he's going to play most likely. We got another freshman who we're redshirting this year. Shout out Ben Kelly. He said, I don't think he's ready yet. I'm not sure if he's going to be the one to take over for the senior. So there's your math. There's your opportunity. You can come here, T. You can play early. That's what he called me. Well, he actually called us something else as freshmen, but I won't get into that. But you can come here early. And if you want to do some math, your best shot's probably right over there competing against that kid, Ben Kelly. Well, what if I told you, that out of the two that he said I can compete with, that Ben Kelly is in the Hall of Fame at the University of Colorado and his name is in the stadium. So the one young guy, he's a redshirt freshman, so that means he's a freshman. That means his first year on the field is going to be your freshman year. Because I'm in high school and I'm getting ready to sign and go off and be somewhere and be a freshman. He's already a freshman at CU and he's redshirting, which means he's going to be a redshirt freshman and be on the same 4-year plan that I'm on when I get there. And lo and behold, the one that he said he didn't know if he was ever going to pan out to be anything ends up being a University of Colorado Hall of Famer, by far the best kick returner that we've had at the school. And his name is in the stadium, went third round in the NFL draft to the Miami Dolphins. And Damon Wheeler on the other, he was not too shabby himself. A matter of fact, he was probably the best corner we had. But Ben was the most dynamic, and he was the most dynamic kick returner we ever had at CU. So the combination of him being a pretty darn good corner himself and being the best kick returner we ever had, he was going to stay on the field. And then Damon being probably the best pure corner we had, and him only being a sophomore because he played as a true freshman, started as a true freshman. So when I'm getting recruited, he's a true freshman starting. I'm behind the 8 ball, brother, when I get there. So I'm doing the math and listening to Coach Math. He's telling me I got an opportunity here. And lo and behold, it's behind a future Hall of Famer, you guys. And Damon ended up getting drafted, too, in the 6th round to the San Diego Chargers, and probably would have been a first-day guy if he was bigger. He was just small. So, you guys, a lot of time the math does not work out. There's plenty of times where guys have jumped in the portal because they've thought, oh, I'm never going to play behind that guy. And then lo and behold, that guy gets injured and you would have played. Or lo and behold, that guy gets into some social issue off the field and you would have played. Or that guy over there that you didn't think you were going to play behind, he didn't make it academically. Or he went off on the coach and you would have played. Coach is through with him after he blew 2 assignments in one of the big games in the middle of the season and you would have played. But you had your math different. You didn't even see that part of the equation because you were so sold on the top part of the equation that if you would have just waited a little while and been patient, everything would have worked out. Or if maybe you went to the other school where you thought it was all done and you didn't see how that could work out in your favor. If you would have went to that school, then maybe it would have worked out. So I'm getting to all of this to tell you guys to bring it inside. Bring it inside. The only thing you can do in the football entertainment industry is bring it inside. That's what you can control. The math is here. The math is here. Okay? As long as you're mastering your heart and your mind, the math will pan out in your favor. You just got to work the equation. You got to be patient with the equation. Okay? Here's another one for you, and this is in the NFL world, and you guys all saw this play out. Who won the Super Bowl this year? Who won the Super Bowl? If I'm not mistaken, wasn't it Sam Darnold, who people had done the math on and had cast aside, said take that part out of the equation. That will never work. Take him out. That man's been on multiple teams. He's probably did the math back in the day and thought that he would never be on so many teams and have to go through so much turmoil. People, and the Jets cast him aside, said he was a bust. You guys. He's been labeled a bust. So, look at this. I mean, they drafted Milroe from Alabama in the 2nd round. Milroe could not take over for Darnold. Darnold took them all the way to the Super Bowl, and he's got a Super Bowl ring when guys like Lamar Jackson and my guy up in Buffalo don't have them. Think about Brock Purdy. I mean, Mr. Irrelevant. What's the math on the Mr. Irrelevance, especially at quarterback? So if somebody's doing the math on Brock Purdy's situation, when he gets drafted Mr. Irrelevant and goes to the 49ers, they're saying, you have no chance. I'm doing the math. You have no chance. Lo and behold, he makes Garoppolo expendable. He makes Lance expendable. And he gets a big fat contract. A big fat contract 3 years later. You guys. I don't know if it's 3 or 4, but the math, people didn't see that math. So don't worry. Don't worry, because if you start trying to do the math, then that means you're looking outside of yourself. That means you have to get numbers from somewhere else that have nothing to do with you and try to put it down and see if it comes out in your favor. We don't do that. We can't do that in the football industry. A matter of fact, every time we try to do that, the math doesn't come out right. The math is right here. The math is right here. You focus on these 2 areas, the math always comes out right. And it's math you can be proud of. All right. So hopefully that helps many of you young football players that are trying to navigate this thing. I've been there. I've been there. That's the reason why we huddle. That's the reason why we bring this up. Is because I used to do it. And it used to always come out wrong. You guys. So focus on you. Everything that you want is still in front of you. Be patiently impatient. We'll talk about that more in another huddle. But be patiently impatient and go after it. The math is you. All right? One. You. All right. I'm Coach Wood. Make sure you check out the description box and see those resources that we got for you. Make sure you bring a friend. Bring a friend to the huddle. This is a huddle with no limits. We want as many people in the huddle as possible. So bring a friend, hit that subscribe button, baby, and I'll see you at the top.